Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Aging in Place Directory podcast, episode number 8. Today's episode is going to focus on mobility issues as far as aging in place or for anyone that may be having mobility issues in their home, either due to a temporary illness, a chronic illness, or anything else. So we're going to talk about some products that can help to make mobility a little easier for you in a home. The first thing we're going to talk about are stair lifts. Now, stair lifts are, pretty common. You think about aging in place in a multi-level home, a lot of people automatically think about stair lifts. And if you're not familiar with it, a stair lift is a motorized chair that travels along a rail that's installed on your staircase. Now, they're excellent, of course, for anyone who struggles going up and down the stairs and for anyone who has to go up and down the stairs. In some homes, the master bedroom or a bedroom is upstairs. Bathrooms are sometimes upstairs. My mom-in-law's home in New Jersey, her bedrooms and bathrooms were all upstairs. So in order to maintain that level of independence in any type of multi-level home, you need something to take you up and down. And stair lifts are one of the most common ones to install. The things to consider about when selecting a stair lift or considering a stair lift is the type of stairs that you have. Is it straight? Is it curved? Does it have a landing and then curves? Do you need an indoor model or an outdoor model? They do have stair lifts for outdoor steps. Do you need both, perhaps? Then the installation process. Typically stair lifts are installed on the actual steps of the stairs, not the wall. So what type of stairs do you have? If you're looking at an outdoor set of steps, are they stone? Are they wood? Those types of issues determine the cost and the length of time that it takes, and sometimes the type of stair lift that you're going to have installed in the home. You want to make sure that the stair lift you get has safety features such as seat belts. Definitely has to have seat belts. Obstruction sensors, so that if it's going up a set of stairs and then there's something there, maybe a toy, maybe a dog toy, anything at all, maybe the cat. And as it's going up, if it senses that there's something on the step, it will stop instead of running it over and possibly damaging the stair lift and whatever else is on the stairs. Hopefully not the cat. You want to, if possible, to have emergency stop buttons on there, also control buttons for how fast or slow that it goes. And some stair lifts even come with an emergency call button. What if you're home alone? You're on the stair lift, it goes halfway up and it stops. For whatever reason, it stopped. The power went out, the battery died, whatever. You want to have some type of an emergency call system, either built into the stair lift or at the very least have something with you, either an emergency medical alert system, your phone, whatever, because it can happen. Haven't heard too many stories of it happening where you get stuck, but it can. There are 2 power options for stair lifts. It can be battery operated or electrical. And then also, the comfort and style of the seat itself. Some chairs can be narrow. If you're a big, heavy person, you may need a wider chair. Are the arm rests, in the appropriate place for you? Are they comfortable? Because you're going to be in it for a little bit. And then does it match um, some home residents will find it easier to accept a stair lift in their home if it at least can match the aesthetics and decor of the home as much as possible, of course. Um, if your issue is temporary, you can rent stair lifts, but you can also consider a portable stair lift. And that's excellent, especially if you're renting a home. Um, that's an excellent choice there. And they can be installed without permanent modifications to the home. So consider calling any of the stair lift facilities in your area. They're all over the country and the U and the world. So consider contacting one of them. Actually, I would contact several of them to see what quotes they give you and what tips and ideas they may have, and then what products they offer. Now, the average cost for a stair lift for a straight, you know, staircase is anywhere between 2,000 to 8,500 or more, and that's the average. Obviously, it's going to be different depending on where you live, the type you choose, your home installation, all of that. But the average that I've found online was 2,000 to 8,500. The average cost for a stair lift, if it has to curve, if it has to go on a landing and then curve, or a curved staircase, is anywhere between 7,500 and 15,000. Now, an average cost for an outdoor stair lift is anywhere between 3,500 and 12,000. But again, that's going to be altered depending on whether it's straight or whether it's curved, the type of material that it has to sit on. So those are the averages for stair lifts, just to give you an idea. The other option for mobility is residential elevators. They're becoming much more popular these days, and that's only because they're coming now in different styles. Some are big enough to put a wheelchair in. Some are the traditional looking elevators where they're square or rectangular, and you can roll in, you can walk in, and you go up. Some are completely glass encased. Some are just a round tube where it would just accommodate one person and maybe a few bags that, if they want to take groceries in upstairs or whatever. So there's all different types of residential elevators these days. So if you're considering that, take a look at some companies that provide that. And some of the stair lift companies may also be able to help you with those as well. Now, there are several different types of residential elevators. There are hydraulic ones, there are pneumatic vacuum ones, and then there's traction elevators. Reach one has its own benefits and downsides, and I will include a link to an article about those types of residential elevators, so you can get a little more information. But obviously, whatever company you call, they will be able to give you even more details on their particular product. Obviously, you need the space to install these elevators. A lot of times, a hallway closet or the corner of a room may be enough, may suffice. I mean, it's just going to depend on what's above that space. Can the elevator be, accommodate both spaces? There's no sense in, putting an elevator in the corner of a living room if it ends up going, if what's above that living room is the corner of a guest bedroom and your bedroom is down the other hall, that may not accommodate very well. So they can help you decide what would be a best space in your home, if you even have a space in your home to accommodate a residential elevator. Obviously, you want to make sure that it has safety features, stop button, emergency call, things like that. You want to make sure that the size of the elevator is enough for you. If you think that there's any chance that you may end up having to use a wheelchair, then you definitely want to get a elevator that can accommodate a wheelchair. The small singular tubal ones may not be able to unless they have larger ones. I'm not sure. And then you want to ask about how much energy does it cost? How much does it raise your electrical bill, if at all? What is the ongoing expense? Because obviously there's an initial expense, but then how much are you going to pay continuously? Sort of like putting in a pool. You're going to pay initially to have a pool put in, but then there is a monthly fee if you have a heater put in, for the chemicals, for the pump, all of that adds up. So you want to also ask about shaftless elevator designs. Those are easier to retrofit in an existing home. These don't require a traditional hoistway, to bring the elevator up and down. That may be one of the pneumatic versions. I'm not 100% sure. Again, the company that you call, or companies, I would call a few, can give you more information. But there are some simple ways to install elevator, to retrofit it into existing homes. So consider that. Now, residential elevators are more costly than stair lifts for sure. The average is between 20 to 50,000. But if you plan to be on your home for many, many years, then and you want to, be as independent as possible, you may want to consider getting a residential elevator. It's an option. The other stair option that I see often is something called the ASSISTEP. Step. It's ASSISTEP. And again, I'll have information about that in the show notes. But it's a wonderful, innovative mobility device. They call it an aid. And it's designed to make stair climbing safer, but you have to be able to walk and take steps. You can't, it doesn't do it for you. What it does is it guides you. You're holding on to this device that is sitting on your railing, or they may install a new railing for it. And then you take a step, and then you literally take this device, push it up, and then you take another step. And then you push it up again, and you take another step. So it's a wonderful device if you are still mobile. It's foldable, so when you're done with it, you get upstairs or downstairs, you just fold it up against the wall. And it's suitable for any type of stairs, curved, straight. And if you want to try to maintain your strength and mobility, if that's possible, this is a great way to do it. It's an excellent intermediate solution for anyone who currently is having trouble getting up steps but doesn't quite need full blown assistance, like a stair lift or an elevator. You still have to work to get up those steps, but this aid, the ASSI step, can help to guide you and keep you safe while you are going upstairs. It's almost like having a person with you, only you're controlling it. It's not motorized in any way, so you don't have to worry about batteries or plugging it in or anything like that. And the price is anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 or more, depending on the installation process, depending on what they are having to install the additional railing for this ASSI step on, and what your existing railing looks like. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about are vertical platform lifts. Now, these, one of my neighbors actually has one because her husband um, was in a wheelchair. So it was 3 or 4 steps to get from the garage up to the house level into the kitchen. So what they did is they installed a vertical platform lift so the wheelchair could go onto the lift. The lift would then bring him up to the level of the home, and then he could finish, wheeling himself into the kitchen. There are enclosed models and open models. And what I mean by that is that the flat platform that the wheelchair goes onto, they're mostly used for wheelchairs. I shouldn't say that. You could go onto it with a walker and stand on it, but I think they're mostly used for wheelchairs. I would be a little nervous having standing on something that moves. But anyway, some of the flat platforms do have lips that go up. So that is enclosed. It keeps you, safe in there so that there's no, especially if you're in a wheelchair and you didn't put on the brake enough or at all, the wheelchair doesn't roll off the platform while it's moving up. You have to consider the space. Is there enough space where where you need it in order for the platform to be installed? You want to make sure that it has emergency stop buttons and obstruction sensors, just like the stair lifts. And then, of course, the size of it will depend on what your needs are. You may also want to look for if there are vertical platforms that have handrails. If you are going to consider using it with your walker or in a standing mode, You want to make sure that it has something to hold onto while it's moving. You do not want to fall off something that is supposed to keep you safe. The average cost of these is anywhere between 4,000 and 15,000 or more, of course, depending on the space, what has to be done to that space in order to add that, and of course the size of the platform that you need. Another very, very common product that most people think about when it comes to aging in place are ramps. Now, ramps are very versatile. You've all seen them. Some go straight up. Well, I'm sure you've all seen them. Some go straight up into, the patio, the porch, or into a vehicle. Some go, like the lines at Disney World where you zigzag, you go up, turn, then go back up the other way. It all depends on the space that you have in order to accommodate the slope. There is a specific slope. If you have a short space, you may need the zigzag type of ramp because if it's a short space and it's a high elevation that you have to get to, 3, 4 steps, you can't very well wheel yourself up a very high incline. So you have to slowly do a zigzag movement to get a zigzag ramp to get into your home or out of. They can be made out of many things, metal, wood, aluminum, concrete, rubber. There's so many different materials nowadays. I've even seen some ramps made out of that Trex material that can withstand just all kinds of weather, which is excellent for long-term use. And there are ways now that ramp installers are working with landscape architects to incorporate the ramp in the home environment so that it doesn't look like a ramp. It looks like it's just part of the home, which I think is really beautiful because certainly you can walk up a ramp. You don't necessarily need just the wheelchair to go up of them. So it can make it easier, even if you don't have a wheelchair and you're using a cane. I have a very good friend of mine who cannot manage steps at all. But she can manage slopes, uh, sloped ramps. So that's an easy way for her to get in and out of her home. Of course, there are permanent ramps. There's portable ramps, semi-permanent ramps. You want to consider where you live, which would dictate the type of material that you use. Maybe wood would not do very well in your environment. Maybe you need more non-slip surfaces. Of course, drainage is an issue. That's why speaking or consulting with a landscape architect um, uh, can help to really make the best type of ramp for your home possible. And as I said, you want to integrate it with your home aesthetics so that when someone does look at your home, it doesn't look like a ramp. It just looks like a really cool entrance into your home. The average cost be anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 or more, obviously depending on the size, the material, and what kind of work has to be done in order to include that ramp. If you have trees in the way, that they may have to be removed. So that, of course, is going to increase the cost. Maybe plumbing, maybe some type of outdoor piping. I don't know. There's all kinds of issues, but at least you have an idea. Anywhere between 1 and 5,000 is usual for just a regular ramp. Portable ramps are excellent for, if you live in a rental home. There's a lot of portable ramps to get into a van or a vehicle type of thing. Some fold, some telescope out. There's even suitcase ramps that with just a single step those are often to get into a car. And then the thing you want to think about with a portable ramp is the weight consideration. If you're a very heavy person, a portable ramp may not accommodate you. I think I think the average is between 250 and 300 pounds that they can accommodate. Not 100% sure, but certainly when you start looking into portable ramps, you can check out the weight limitations that they have. And the average cost of portable ramps is anywhere from $100 to $2,000. You may end up needing both. You may need a portable ramp, and you may need a permanent ramp in your home. Now, how do you decide which of these to choose? Well, I would certainly recommend an aging in place specialist to come to your home to assess your needs and to assess your home. And that also includes assessing your vehicle. If you have trouble getting in and out of the vehicle, what type of tool do you need to do that? Would a portable ramp help you? Would a portable ramp even be a solution for your home? Is there an alternate way to get in? Is it better to just create an alternate way to get in, from the back versus the front door? Of course, you want to consider your budget. How much can you spend? But what an aging in place specialist can do for you is they can give you all the alternatives, every single option available. And then you can weigh the pros and cons along with them. They can help you. And of course, choose what works for you as far as your budget and your needs and all of that. The You also want to consider any ongoing costs. It's not just the initial cost, any ongoing costs. Obviously, if anything requires a battery or electrical power, there's going to be ongoing costs with that, and maybe ongoing work. You have to recharge the battery. How much electricity is that going to cost you? How is that going to, impact your monthly bill? And one thing that you can do with an aging in place specialist is basically create what they call a mobility map of your home. This is like a visual guide to help you identify what trouble spots you have in your home. Is it the front entryway? Is it coming in from the garage into the house? The house? Is it just going from room to room? Do you have high thresholds? Is it maybe the hallways are narrow or the doorways are narrow? Any type of mobility issue that you may have getting from place to place, you and an aging in place specialist can brainstorm ideas. And she, of course, can give you options on modifications and tools, exactly like the tools that we spoke about here. Now, these are all excellent products. Obviously, they require installation. I would recommend installation by experts who do this for, ongoing living, because they can give you their expertise, not only on the products, their knowledge of them, but also their experience with others who are dealing with the same issues that you may be dealing with. So those are the excellent mobility products that I can recommend. I would love for you to give me ideas on what you're using. Give me your comments on what you like. Maybe you used one of these and it wasn't for you. You didn't like it. Tell me why, pros and cons. Again, each of these products, it must be individualized, not only to the house, to the environment, but to the person as well. All right. So I want to thank you so much for listening to episode number 8. I look forward to the next podcast. Let me know what you think. Of course, subscribe. Every time someone subscribes, it helps to get the podcast out to even more people. Obviously, share the podcast if you found the information useful. Share it with your family, your friends, anyone you think who may find the information needed. Again, I will go ahead and put the links to the articles and information on the show notes. And again, I will see you next time. Take care.